bit about the wind companies, and then we can get into some projects that we've worked on. We'll say it's pretty complicated stuff. And when you listen to Albert, your head sort of explodes a little bit. I can notice all of you sort of, your head's exploding. There's different states, different programs, state credits, federal credits, and that's two financing sources. So when we look at projects in Massachusetts or New York or other locations, we're coupling these with 3 or 4 or 5 other layers of financing. So you have these very complicated deals with very complicated financial structures that appear to be easy to do, but they're not. So I guess the first piece of advice is, and this is a pitch to the group here, is pick the right consultants as you do these type of deals, and pick the right historic consultant, pick the right syndicator, work with the right advocacy group, because they are complicated and they do change a lot. We're working on a deal with Albert in East Haven, Connecticut right now, and you know, we've run into a lot of problems with the building that if you drove by it today, you'd say, wow, what a beautiful old school building. It's been sitting vacant for 10 plus years. It's in a nice little neighborhood right downtown, East Haven. And we've come forth with a proposal to meet with the town, and we line up with what they want to do, which is elderly type housing. We've supported the project. And we've actually run into some problems with the shipbuilding park service, related to the windows, or related to the cupola, or related to things that we would say, maybe material, maybe not material, but we have a solution. We have a game plan of preserving the building and doing a fantastic job. And but for the team, and but for the relationships, I think these things would be even harder. So just keep that in mind. Wind companies, 5th largest multi-family management company in the country. We manage 120 million square feet with associated under management. The wind-owned portfolio is about 100 properties in 11 states, and that represents about 1,500 units that Wind has developed over the tenure of the company. The company started in 1979 and has been doing housing since then. Housing is our primary source of our business. Wind Development is a private, for-profit company, but we do a lot of partnership-type projects. We partner with local CDC nonprofits. We partner with municipalities, like I described in East Haven. We partner with housing authorities that have assets, but don't have the either financial capacity or sophistication to run these through these complicated structures. So we're very open to partnerships. I'd say 30% of our projects include some type of nonprofit partner. And we're actively working with historic projects in several states right now. So New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Rhode Island, and Massachusetts. Not for 45 years, but probably over the last 10 or 12 years, because the state historic tax credit has become so strong in Massachusetts, as Albert described in about 2006. We've transformed about 36 of these structures into housing. So 3,600 units of housing, an investment of over $520 million. This says that the United States has won more awards. I think that's what it was on our website, but I believe that's true. And it's just a testament to what Wind has done over the past 10 years with these types of structures and how important they become for us. You know, it's no surprise where these are located. We love historic buildings. We like the credits that Albert said that very well. I think that's important. And it's no surprise that we're doing adaptive reuse developments in states that have a state historic credit and a federal historic credit and are transferable for the most part. So the majority of our adaptive reuse developments are in Massachusetts. We have 27 of those. 3 in Connecticut, 2 in New York, 2 in Pennsylvania, DC, Virginia. And we're also working on one project in Rhode Island right now with the Pawtucket Housing Authority. It's a 300-unit public housing site. So it's only one of 3 public housing communities in the country that are going to be listed on the National Register. We're doing it in 3 phases, an occupied rehab. It's using the federal historic credit, the state program, the Sunset. And we're on a list, basically there's a waiting list, so as deals aren't able to utilize the credit that they reserved, some of those credits do come back to the list. We're 68, I think, on the list. So, you know, don't hold your breath, but I think it's a deal that we're able to fund and make with state historic credits because of the public housing and some of the public housing financing associated with it. 2 deals in the neighborhood. Knox Street was done in 2006. Before my time, I believe it was a successful deal, 47 townhome type units that utilized state and federal historic grants. And the Livingston School is a project I worked on about 4 or 5 years ago, which is, I've got some pictures of it, but it's on a mile west of here on Northern Boulevard. Big, beautiful building that we transferred into 103 units of elderly exterior housing. It's done very well. We've talked about transferability a lot. I'll just try to make it brief, and I kind of look at it from a dollars point of view, and what that means to us in the capital stack. So when we look at pricing, when we look at the pricing of the credit, we don't, as the owner, we don't really utilize the credit. We don't utilize the package. We sell that, and we sell that through a syndicator. Someone like John or Bank of America or Boston Financial, some of these big syndicator shops, will take the credit from us and they'll sell it to an investor. What I try to do is compare the delta between the pricing we receive in Massachusetts, which would be most of our business, which is a transferable bifurcatable credit, which means we can sell the state credit to one investor and the federal credit to a different investor, and the pricing here in New York. And I did the same with the state low-income credit, which is the affordable housing credit. So on average, in New York is the 65 cents. That's the sale in the state historic, and Massachusetts is 90 cents. That's a 25-cent discount. Doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're multiplying it by 4 or 5 or $8 million, it's a big deal. And then same with the state low-income credit. The less of the delta was 65 versus 75 cents in Massachusetts. So it really means something. And I've outlined that on a couple of So I just highlighted a few projects, 2 here in Massachusetts and 1 here in upstate New York, that utilize these credits. And I'd say, but for these credits, these buildings will still be sitting there vacant. These buildings are beautiful buildings, but they have negative economic value. They're a lot, mostly curated. They're very expensive. I don't remember what the guy said this building cost to develop years ago, $300,000, something like that. That's like 1 unit in this building. So they're very expensive to redevelop. And it's been a process for us as we've gone through these, but it's they're fun to do. They attract a lot of community support. And old buildings are great because they're not utilizing new resources for the most part. They're not utilizing municipal stubborns for utilities because they're already there. And a lot of these are the centerpiece for the town or the municipality that we go into. So a lot of the city people work there, or fathers or parents work there, and there's generally a lot of community support for the redevelopment of these type of structures. Malden Mills, it's actually in Lawrence, Methuen, Massachusetts, just north of Boston. You may have read about years ago, Aaron Fierstein, Polytech big fire in 1995 or so. Aaron Fierstein was the guy that developed the patent for Polytech release. Big fire in 1995, a couple of the buildings burned down. His factory burned down. He got $100 million in insurance proceeds, borrowed much more, rebuilt the factory, and in the interim, over the 2-year period, was such a nice guy that he paid all his workers to continue their job and it was so nice. They went into foreclosure. Lost the buildings, the property went to a joint venture capital firm out of Philadelphia, bought the manufacturing facility we just built that had all these ancillary historic buildings that they were new for. There was like 1 million square feet of historic structures that were really ancillary to the manufacturing facility. So we got in touch with the owners, and we were able to develop two phases of housing, 137 units, 4 buildings in 2 phases, so over like a 6-year span period of time. That building in the middle of the curve is the old oil rig. It's like one of the nicest buildings in its community for the facility. But you'll see that was the condition of the building when we purchased it. This was years after the fire. This was not fire damage, but this was just the condition of the building. There was no use for it. It was boarded up, and there was some money related to the building. And this is what it looks like after. We have community spaces and fitness centers and meeting rooms and things like that, in addition to the residential use. But always back to the numbers, because if these don't work on a piece of paper, they don't really work in the real world. So when you talk about the difference in pricing between Mass and New York, this received a credit allocation of historic credits of $3.1 million. We raised when we sold it at 93 cents. This was years ago. This was before the credit went from a 5-year credit to from a 1-year credit to a 5-year credit, which I always described. But that generated $2.9 million in equity on the state historic credit alone. And if you took New York pricing today, you have a delta negative of about $870,000. So it's real dollars. And the same thing applies to the state credit. Again, in New York, it's non-transferable. You're negative about $500,000. So it's a pretty good discount to what you can get in other states. This was another project we did in Fitch Road, which is about 50 miles west of Austin. It was an old yarn manufacturing facility. It had been vacant for many years. And again, but for the credits, it would still be probably sitting there vacant. This turned into 96 units. This is elderly, but it's family housing. And again, this was the condition of the building. Boarded up windows, overgrown lot. This was on a river, in a floodplain, had a lot of environmental issues, and the costs associated with just the cleanup of the site, making the building ready for floodplain to raise the whole first floor to get out of the floodplain. You couldn't do it without these type of credits associated with these historic buildings. That's kind of, so that picture of the circles before, that's the same viewpoint after. So hugely successful building, came out great. We have a waiting list of over 100 people, it's done very well. Again, I do the same comparison. Bigger project, bigger delta, right? State historic delta, $1,000,001. State low income delta, $1,004,000. So this is like a $3 million delta for this size project between what we would get in Mass versus New York. And these are just typical, municipal layouts. Livingston School, you guys have probably all seen this. This was, again, another vacant building. It was in pretty good shape because it had been used as a school for a long period of time. But the school board was trying to sell it. We were able to negotiate a deal with the school board. When we bought it at a slight discount, the school board kept a large lawn in front of the building, so they own that today, and they use that for sports and practices and things like that, and they maintain that. And we bought the actual building structure itself. But this is a big building. It was 130,000 square feet, and we utilized the wings and the main building. The building on the far right, which you can't really see too well, I can see it better here than you can, but that's a big 2-story gym structure. It's a big 10,000 square foot gym, and then behind the copper cupola is like a 12,000 square foot auditorium. So those spaces are sitting kind of like this today. They're vacant. We couldn't demise them because the Park Service wouldn't let us demise the space. So you have a big 2-story space like this, they wouldn't let us put a floor to make units above and below. So we basically have these vacant spaces. We've met with a couple places, this is not a pitch, but if you have a theater company or a school or something like that that could use the space, we're very eager to find that, because what happens, even if you mothball it, you have to insure it, you have to pay taxes on it, you have to temper it to make sure that the sprinklers don't freeze, and it's an added cost to the building. So something we've kind of thought about. I think at some point we probably could redevelop those into housing. I think they're better used as a menu space or the space that they're designed for. This building, again, it wasn't in really horrible condition, but again, neglected and needed these credits. So this is sort of the other way around. This is what the deal would have generated if we were to get Massachusetts pricing, right? So the state historic credits sold, and this is a mistake, 4.6 sold for 65 cents. And in Massachusetts, we would generate another 2 extra. For the state low income, again, we would have generated another $900,000 of state low income credit at the Massachusetts price. So if you add it all up and you say, well, why does it matter, and why does it matter to the state of New York? You're basically leaving $2.1 million on the table, right? So if you add up the state historic and the state LIHTC, you're not leveraging as much credit as you're leveraging in other states, whether it's Connecticut or Massachusetts or otherwise. So then what you have to do, the building costs, what it's going to cost, and the rehab doesn't cost what it's going to cost. So how do you make the difference? You have to go back to the city and get city home funds or CDBG funds. You have to go apply for other resources like federal funds. You have to go to NYSERDA and put together all these other sources that aren't always available and aren't always reliable. You're also asking the state for much more in their housing resources than we would otherwise ask for other states. So we asked for $1.3 million in federal low-income credits, where other states we can do these with about $1 million. That's a big deal because the state, the Affordable Housing Agency is now giving this deal $300,000 more because we can't make the difference in historically we get in another state. So it compounds and it makes these deals less efficient. I think in general too, what this isn't picking up probably is the fact that because we can't sell the state historic credits to one investor and the federal historic credits to another investor, we're limited to the amount of investors. So this deal in Albany, we probably had 3 or 4 banks that we could sell credits to, right? So we had KeyBank, we had M&T, we had First America. That was it. That was the investor deal because the investor had to have an appetite for this much state credit. And we couldn't bifurcate. We couldn't sell it to one state and one federal. In Massachusetts or Connecticut or other locations, we probably have 13, 15 different investors or more vying for this credit. So when they're not transferable, we can't bifurcate them with a very limited resource of investors, literally 3 to 15. And that also drives the pricing down for the federal credits, which doesn't even show up here. So the federal credits yield a much lower sale in New York because of that as well. We talked about this a little bit, again, why is it important? Of course, we have more historic rehab, need to reduce local subsidy, and to be more effective. Aaron, one thing you mentioned, I don't want to keep going back and forth on this, but the number of transfers. When we talk about today with Wes and everyone else on the panel, the transfer from the owner to the nonprofit and back to the partnership. That's 3 transfers. So if you only have 1 transfer, I don't know how you do that. So we're sort of eliminating that whole structure of the nonprofit intermediary. And I don't know if it's even worth it to talk about anymore. You're just going to get the 1 year and call it a win. But again, that whole structure of going to the nonprofit intermediary and back is considered 3. And that's why I think multiple transfers. And if you say, hey, we've got it to be transferable, it's super important. So
we're working, because the state low-income housing credit has it right now, and they're figuring it out. Actually, the affordable housing statewide has their lobby day tomorrow, and they're meeting today. We're benefited by them having to figure out exactly what you just said with the New York State Homes and Community Renewal. So we think that they will come up with something, but we don't know exactly what, and nothing's official, but I know that it's being discussed, and so there is some optimism that there's a way that they can figure it out. And
I just want to point that out.
yeah, no, it's come up.